Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the True Patriot podcast show. Uh, we, I am your host, Tatena Moses Mandoldo, and with me today is what men would consider a political legend, what men would consider a political villain, what men would consider a controversial figure, but what men would also consider as also a hero in the fight for democratic justice in Zimbabwe. Today, joining me is Senator and President of the Movement for Democratic Change, Senator Douglas Mwonzora. Welcome, Senator.
Oh, thank you very much, Tatenda. And I want to thank you for bringing me to your studio. It's a fantastic studio, and this is my first time to be interviewed in this studio. Thank you very much. We don't take the invitation for granted. I want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Zimbabwe for their resilience, and in particular to express my condolences at the death of Mbuya Chera of Glenview. Long-time mainstay for the democratic struggle. May he so rest in peace.
May so rest in peace for sure. Thank you, Senator Mwonzora. Right, without wasting much of your time, let us now delve into the critical issues that we're here to discuss. And they are not only limited to the political scenario, but socio-economic and political setup of this entire nation. Right. My first point of call, Senator, you also not just being a politician, not just being a renowned lawyer, but you're also part and parcel of the whole constitutional making process during the days of the government of national unity that was led by the former late President Robert Mugabe and the former late Prime Minister Dr. Mugabe Changra. What's your view on this whole 20? Because right now we're having a discussion that's been ongoing. We started as a rumor, as a whisper, but it's now fully grown into a legal issue now. It's being posted, it's now being thrown into parliament, it's now being thrown into the community, into Zimbabwe as a whole. As a senator and also as the president of one of the biggest opposition movements in Zimbabwe, what's your view, your learned view on this whole issue?
It is a discussion that we must not at this point in time be having, because it's so commonsensical that the constitution must not be changed to suit individuals. In 2013, the people of Zimbabwe concluded a constitution making process. It was not an easy process. There were murders, there were assaults, detentions, and so on, as people were fighting for their constitution. And this constitution came about as a result of the global political agreement concluded in 2008. And in terms of clause 6 of the global political agreement, the people of Zimbabwe were supposed to make a people-driven, democratic constitution. And we concluded that in 2013. Firstly, we went for outreach, asking Zimbabweans what they wanted in their constitution. They were emphatic that they wanted a president with a limited term because of the recent history that they had gone through. And then in 2013, we had a referendum, and the people of Zimbabwe voted 93.5% in favor of the constitution. One of the highlights of the constitution was that the president would be executive, but elected by the people, and that this president will have a limited term. He or she will be elected and serve 5 years, after which he or she may seek re-election and get another 5 years. After 10 years, the president must go home. So Zimbabwe codified a 2-term system in this country. And the people of Zimbabwe voted 93.5% in favor of that.
But before you, sorry to cut you, Senator, before you go further, there's one statement you just put across that the majority of the people voted in favor of this constitution. ZANU-PF is now coming and saying, look, we have the people. The constitution represents the voices of the people. We hear the people, the majority of the people are saying that President Nangagwa should remain in office till, I don't know.
To where it is firstly a blatant lie that the majority of Zimbabweans are saying that, because no outreach program is been done, no uh, no program of asking the views of the people regarding that item has been done. All we have seen is actually a minority within ZANU-PF, in ZANU-PF rallies and so on, talking about this 2030 agenda. So it is not true that the majority wants this 2030. The 2030 agenda is wanted by those close to the president, because some as ministers think that they may not be ministers after he's gone. Some are economic criminals who are siphoning the wealth of this country through their corrupt deals. By virtue of their association with the president, they are beyond the reach of the law. These are the people who are clamoring for 2030 agenda. It is a self-serving agenda. Also, you can see that this agenda is meant to create a dynasty. Already in this country, we have Munomutapa Day. And Munomutapa Day has been made to coincide with the birthday of the current president, which shows that there are some people in this country who are bent on creating a monarchy. It's a self-serving agenda. Then the second group are the MPs from the opposition. And their history of supporting this is very, very clear. They were invited for a party by the by the first lady at the State House. And then they were given additional vehicles at Parliament. And then they were given rice to distribute. And then they were fattened at the pre-camp farm. After those 4 incidents, they came saying that they wanted a third tail. They did not ask their supporters. They did not ask the people of Zimbabwe. So this is a self-serving agenda. And it's a conversation, as I said, Tatenda, that we must not even be having. Worldwide, where you have limited terms of office, people serve their terms and go away. You can. It's not true that the only way of serving in Zimbabwe is to serve as president. You can serve in other capacities. Look at Obama, for example, a fantastic president. Ronald Reagan, a fantastic president in the United States. But when their terms of office expired, they went away.
But Senator, now they are also, I've been seeing interesting conversations being generated on social media, pub talks and everything regarding the state or the nature of the opposition politics in Zimbabwe. I think you must agree with me that currently the opposition movement as a whole, without naming names, the whole opposition movement is fragmented. Currently lacks direction, is evidenced by a whole opposition outfit going to parliament, going to in incumbents' house, literally to say no. Our duty as opposition is no longer to oppose you, but to support you. But now there are those voices who say, Senator, you were a very active, how can I put it, an active force in generating this chaos that we are seeing, that you divided the opposition in 2018, that you divided also votes in the last elections in 2023. So what's your response in regard to such assumptions or these allegations?
My crime, Tatenda, was that in 2014, in the MDC Congress, I beat Nelson Chamisa for the post of Secretary General. I was never forgiven. And after that, at the death of Morgan Tsvangirai, people were so afraid of Congress because they feared that I could win that Congress, that they avoided Congress. In terms of the MDC constitution, when a president dies, his replacement is chosen by a Congress in a democratic way. But we saw that when Tsvangirai died, there was a violence unleashed, basically directed at me and Dr. Kupe. At Humanikwa, there was a cabinet murder. People tried to burn us in the house. That is when the opposition was divided. It was divided between those who want to follow the law and the anarchists. And unfortunately, the anarchists won. and they continued. And when they were now on their own, the anarchy didn't stop. And that's why you had things like strategic ambiguity. We'd never heard of that. That's anarchy, actually. And then again, they were helped by a group called the G40 in denigrating the true opposition. The true opposition was then branded sellout, and while the phony opposition was put out as the correct opposition, now the G40 has withdrawn its support. It has gone back to ZANU-PF as we had predicted. But to answer your question, if the opposition in parliament, the opposition that was voted by the people of Zimbabwe is in disarray. In fact, the opposition there is the Triple C. We have 5 leaders of the Triple C: Wolfman Mube, Sengezo Chabango, Promise Mkwananzi, Jameson Tiba, and Chamisa. These are the 5 leaders of one political party. And it's now speaking in double tongues. One faction says they want 2030, the other says no, the other says we are now aligned to Chiwenda, the other says we're aligned to, it's all confusion. That is, the opposition in parliament is confused. The opposition in parliament is in disarray. There is the opposition that has remained outside parliament, that has remained consistent. And it fought against the delimitation, and everybody in this country, civil society, journalists, fought against it.
Looking at what you're saying, many people would beg to differ, others would beg to differ. They say, like what you said, you branded Chamisa in this one as having been aided by G40 elements. And others might also argue that you were also aided by another element of ZANU-PF. In what, especially looking at issues when you're having the internal squabbles and the party headquarters was bequeathed to you by the courts. We saw different deadlines in terms of that particular party political finance.
Tatenda, let me correct that. We were never given Harvest House by the courts. We took Harvest House. And we took Harvest House through our youths. And our youths were tired, and the MDC security at Harvest House was tired of saluting Jim Kudaka, Shadrach Mashaya Mombe, Jabonu, and Mavaire. These are former ZANU-PF people that they had fought against in the battle for democracy. And because of the convenience of it, these people were now in the national executive of the MDC. And the youths who were our vanguard, who were our fighters during the years when there was violence, were suddenly made to play second fiddle to salute these people every day. They entered the Harvest House and exited. These are the people who told me that I should take over. And when I came to take over Harvest House, there was no resistance at all. That's why nobody was even beaten by the Harvest House.
But different lineages paint a different picture, especially those videos that show the presence of riot police.
These are videos, there are three videos. One video shows army officers. And this is a video for 2018. It was then fast forwarded to 2020. And nobody's, even the press has not looked at those videos. And then the second video of riot police. What had happened, Tateda, is that we took over Harvest House, and importantly, we went and obtained a court order to say we don't want people to come here and cause violence. And that court order, we served it on the police to say the police must intervene if some people want to come and fight. Now, that is what we call an agreeable exploitation of incongruities. It's a clever way of fighting, isn't it? Because there was a political fight. So it is not true that we were aided by the police. And even in the courts, when they took the matters to court, especially after the recalls, and they were arguing that we were not supposed to recall. What we simply produced was the MDC constitution, which